It's a good time. We're here, out here with real Melbourne in Melbourne. Come on now.
This is the Real Melbourne Podcast, the central point in this beautiful city's culture. I'm Alex Dickinson.
And I'm Brian Hughes. It's been a minute. It's been a while, and we have two new guests with us, Alex.
Yes, we do, man. These two guys have been making serious waves in the city. Two kings, mind the puns.
Yeah.
We got my man R.L.King, singer-songwriter, coming in with that smooth R&B. And we got his right-hand man, Isiah Wayve, manager, label owner, producer, DJ, wearing many hats. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us, man. This is special.
Yeah. There we go. Have you done much podcasts to get your name out there as well?
I have done one, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
Again, all high school friends. They run a podcast called The Disruption Podcast. And they had me in. It was super fun.
Nice.
Whole lot of
How long ago was that?
Oh man, that would have been a couple months now. Yeah, so I'm quite fresh to this whole podcast thing.
Yeah.
To be real,
That's alright.
Nah, it's super fun from my experience.
Yeah, for sure. And for you, Isiah?
Yeah, I've done one or two.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think there needs to be more, especially in this scene. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I want there to be way more
for
people
sure.
actually talking about the community.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I see you guys are pretty supportive of the Melbourne scene.
Sure.
I guess maybe some of the influencers or some of the people that you're seeing around the city that you're really fucking with at the moment.
Man,
there's a lot.
Everyone.
There's a lot, and it's crazy how much inspiration comes from our own city. So it's diverse. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dexterity in the talent that we have here. So that's sick. So why not show love to where you're from? Yeah,
I see that, man.
Yeah, it's funny because I started uni at the start of this year, and I met Joseph J Concept.
Yes,
He's
sir.
a pianist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I met him out of nowhere, and I'm like,
Joseph.
Joseph. He's like, I'm doing a gig at the Workers Club for R.L.King. And I was, man, I wish I would have come. I think we had a podcast that night. It was Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. How's the gigging side been since everything's opened up?
Man, we've only had one show, and that was my first headline, and it was magic. Yeah. It was insane because we were coming off. Well, I was coming off performing from over a year, obviously with everything that happened last year, and the year before that, we had a couple of support act gigs and things like that. But yeah, it was magic.
Good turnout.
Big adrenaline. Yeah, it sold out. So it was.
That's right.
It was
I tried to get a ticket on the day, couldn't get it. It was gone.
Blessed, to be honest.
Yeah.
100%. That's not me. But it was just amazing. It was hot. It was really steamy in that place. Workers Club gets really steamy, but it was good.
It seems like it's a place now that it's getting a name for gigs.
Oh, for sure. Especially your first show.
Yeah.
A lot of people have their first show at the Workers Club because it is in an intimate capacity. But it's a good space. And that night had really good energy, so it was great.
And how's it for you, Isiah, kind of managing the whole situation, selling out tickets, promo, all that sort of stuff?
There's a lot, I've done DJ gigs before, so I've got Soul Supply happening, which is my DJ sort of thing. So I've definitely run events before, but the whole thing of doing an event for him is a bit different because you have to do rehearsals and you have to tee up everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Band members, make sure there's a videographer. There's a lot of moving parts, but it was dope. I think we did it pretty well. Yeah, he's crazy live.
We killed that shit. Let's be real, we killed it.
Yeah,
crazy
good.
Live, so.
It was good.
Well, shout out some of your opening acts that you had.
Oh, I had the top of the top.
Man,
okay, the cream of the crop.
He's very lucky to have that.
Honestly, no, let's be real. Because very blessed to have, to be friends, if not best friends, with some of the people that performed the support act. So we had Blushko, who's huge, lush vocals, everything's
fucking guy.
He is the nicest person you'll ever meet. It is insane how genuine he is. And that's definitely one of his biggest qualities too, besides his beautiful vocals. And we had my best friend, my sis, Olivia Escuyos. She killed her set. And Joseph and Daniel, the guitarist on my band, played for her as well. It was insane. Definitely set the tone because people came in and it was quality from the start. Yeah. So that was really important, but it was also really, really good because it seemed like everyone had fun. So it was definitely a really good night, and I'd like to think like a night full of like quality music.
It's really good having Blushka, I think. That's like a pinnacle, because I feel like the older cats in like Melbourne, you know what I mean, like Blushka and like the Operatives, or like that sort of like older crew, I guess, like that were like there from the start. So like us coming up, it was really cool to like almost like a pass the torch type thing, you know what I mean?
They're kind of young OGs in a way, right? So, rocks.
And you know, like Blushko is much bigger than us as like artists, like me personally, as like a following and things like that. That's how down to earth he is. Like, you know, he's very in it for the music, and so is Liv, because like for them to be such big inspirations to me and to perform at my show, like bless me with their presence. It's insane, you know what I mean? And it just goes to show, like, that's what our scene is about.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it just kind of seems like you guys have got your own camp and crew and that sort of stuff. How did, like, everyone sort of link together? Like, even from the three of you to, like, you know, Rinny and all that sort of stuff, and Alwyn, like, from early on.
Yeah.
Man.
I get, like, it goes way back. It goes way back. Like, Rinny and I used to hang around sort of the same crew in high school. So I knew Rinny, we used to see each other at house parties in high school. So, you know, we used to be friends from there, but we never really like talked music back then. We both knew that we were singers and things like that. And then I hit up Aldwin after high school to like work on tracks, and I was doing that with him for like 2 years and never really released anything. But yeah, that's how I met, like, became closer sort of to Rinny and Aldwin. And then this guy, he
comes out of nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere. And he's like, hey, let's link up. And he was like this guy that did like mixes on SoundCloud, and he's like, I want to do this. It's called, before it was called Brand X, it wasn't called Hidden Sun. And yeah, literally the rest is history. Like, he hit me up, and then literally from that month, I was at the old studio on East Side in a garage. We were in a garage, and every night since then. And then it just turned into this. There's a few bumps in the road, but like, you know what I mean? Like, the essence of it is 2 years later, we're here. Yeah.
That's solid, man. And this was probably back when you were Vince Rojas, right? So, like, explain the name change, you know?
I only changed it recently. More of just like a pseudonym for like my music and stuff. But yeah, back in the day, it was crazy. I think a lot of the stuff that we've, you know, has happened now, I've been like creating platforms for him. So when I first met him, like, I didn't know anything. Like, I was literally doing DJ mixes, and I was trying to like get as many people from Melbourne as I could onto the mixes, because it was just probably similar to like a lot of the stuff, you know, you'd know, just to try and network in the scene, because I didn't know anyone like that. And then when I heard him on SoundCloud, I wanted to meet up, and then he's like, yeah, like, I'm slowing down a little bit on music, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, let me manage you. So like, I learned everything I need to do to manage him. And then he's like, oh, he needs a producer. Like, all right, I'll learn how to produce, you know what I mean? So like all of that, oh, you need a studio, I'll set one up, you know what I mean? So it was just about like giving him, I guess, everything he needs to like, be an artist, I guess. Yeah.
I just want to point out that, like, if you've heard any of my tracks, he's produced all my tracks. He's only been a producer for like 2 years. Yeah.
So you pretty much influenced him to become a producer, like.
Well, yeah, because
he just needed one. Yeah, I was like, all right, but I'll learn. Like, let's get it done.
And then he taught me how to produce. Like, it's just, it's wild to think that like, it was never a thing 2 years ago until he was like, oh, all right, let's try this now. And then that's how it happened. He became a producer, became a manager. He did everything.
Yeah. Just behind the scenes.
What's up, man?
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How'd you find the management side of things so far?
Management's been pretty good. I think the first 2 years with you know, R.L.King have been a bit tough of really like learning what is best for the artist. I think the music industry as a whole is like going through so many changes, and like technology is just changing everything. So a lot of the stuff that like if you read up online or like you're looking at books, like half that's not even relevant, you know what I mean? So you really have to take like a more like personal approach to like, okay, like what is needed right now, you know what I mean? How do people find music now?
Facts.
And like learning like where you can integrate yourself through that.
Do you think it's more experimental? It's more experimental
way more
as well?
experimental, which I feel like is why at the moment I feel very comfortable doing it right now, because I feel like I'm at a point where like I've sort of blended the creative creativeness of like producing into my work as like a manager to come up with like new solutions, because it's basically all it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're just trying to find like new levels to reach. But yeah, it's been good. I think now like we're finally getting to a point where like things are moving like at a really good pace, or a pace that I'm happy with. So
I guess even stuff for yourself as well. Like I've been seeing you getting into DJing a lot more now and doing gigs. Like, how's it been? You know, just getting out into the scene and, you know, playing, I guess, maybe your own edits and trying new things in your sets. Like that's gonna be a lot of fun.
So like when I'm DJing, I really love like a specific sound, like specific genres that I like to play. I just find like there's not enough out there, and so like I just started making my own edits, and so I started putting them up every week at the start of this year. So they've been pretty consistent so far, but like it's really nice being able to play like your own shit, like when you're playing it, you know what I mean? Because then if people fucking with it, you're like, wow, this is like,
feels good.
It's special, you know what I mean? It's a bit different. So yeah, the Soul Supply things was literally just another way of me like providing a platform for DJs, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, we've got the artists, you know, making all these platforms for him, but I feel like DJs are kind of limited in this scene, I feel like personally. You know, like when I'm learning about like hip hop or like the history of how things move, you know what I mean? DJs had such an important part of their scenes. And so like, if I see that in Melbourne, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is lacking. Like, how can I create something that will help that, you know what I mean? That's why I really respect you, like 100%. Like when I see you on your stories, like you're always playing people from here, you know what I mean? And you're playing it like at like proper gigs, you know what I mean? Like I don't even have proper gigs like that. Like I just create my own gigs, but
no, but that's solid as well, because like to what you're saying, like from the early history of hip hop, like the DJs would break the records. Literally, it's not like that anymore, unfortunately. It's not, You know? And I think that's important, especially if we want, you know, our sound to grow and you know, our city to build. You know, it's important to play our own shit. You know,
definitely. That's why I made the Soul Supply events. I really wanted to have an event where like DJs weren't restricted to the audience. I find that a lot of events, especially here, my God, every event is like, it's literally cash grab.
The money,
you know what I mean? Like what's hot right now. Or like Afrobeats is hot, Afrobeat event. You know what I mean? Like R&B, trap, like let's do that. You know what I mean? And they're dope, like it's cool, but I really want an event where it's like the DJs can play whatever the fuck they want to play. You know what I mean? If they have that space to be able to play what they want to play, and they fuck with the Melbourne scene, then like naturally it'll just happen, you know what I mean? I try and include that in my sets.
Yeah, have you ever gotten to a point where like you play like a Melbourne artist and it just fucking creates a vibe, like a dance floor happens and you're just like, oh my, this is the best fucking feeling ever? Because that's happened to me a couple of times.
Oh really? Yeah. That's dope. It's good, like those are the ones that are special, you know what I mean? Because then if people ask you like, oh, what is it? You know, you're like, they're right from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I think about times, even when we've had like celebrities, you know, in the store at Culture Kings, and like I'd play like a Fragile remix that he remixed like Trippie Redd, and you know, and then Trippie Redd would actually react to it, and I play Keto, and Trippie Redd's crew would react to it, and far out. And then I even like at Afrobeats clubs and that sort of stuff, if I play like Low Key, or if I play Joannie, like it goes off, people know about them, and that's like really dope to see, you know. So like the reactions that I get sometimes from these like Melbourne artists, it's really good to see. It's gratifying, you know?
It's amazing. I like it. I think that like scenes need that, you know what I mean? Like every scene needs platforms, you know what I mean? Which is why things like this is so important. You know what I mean? It's a lot more important than like what the guys at the top end are doing, to be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and shout out to you, because like if you're creating that space where DJs can play whatever they want, you're creating that fan base or just the audience that comes through and like, I just want to listen to some, you know, different edits or different music that I'm normally going to listen to. Like you create that space for DJs, and that's pretty important.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like DJs don't, maybe music doesn't go out through them much anymore, you know. Now that we got a lot of social media platforms, like DJs are being put on the back burner a bit, or they're just being put to play the mainstream stuff. They're being put on, So if you can sneak in a few, you know, Melbourne tracks in there, it really makes a big difference for the entirety.
For sure, because I mean, even some certain events that I go to, I'm like, man, why am I hearing the commercial shit? Like, just play some flips. Like, it's not even that type of crowd for it, you know. So it's pretty important, man.
For sure. Yeah. It travels back to producers as well. Like a lot of the stuff I play is like producers that I like, you know what I mean? They could be from here, from like places I know as well. You know what I mean? I think that's also like another aspect to it. You know,
for sure.
They're getting the recognition a lot more nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you hear a producer, it's as big as hearing an artist these days. You know,
Facts.
Nah,
it's good though because it's good you say that, because Vince and I, Isaiah and I, we are we're people that will hear a song and then go to the song credits. So there are a lot more people coming out, like when they listen to music and consume art, you know, they're looking at who made it, because it's a different aspect now. You know what I mean? It's not just the singer as the forefront. You know what I mean? There's different reasons why this music makes you feel something. So people are thinking. You know what I mean? Like people are dissecting a lot more than they used to, which is special because it doesn't take one person to make something as great as a hit. You know what I mean? It's a whole team.
Yeah.
So it's really, as you say, gratifying to see that support and like recognition for the whole team. You know what I mean?
I think it brings out more collaboration too.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
If you're getting that recognition as a producer and you're, got that recognition as an artist, you'll easily want to gravitate to each other and just work with each other. So it'll definitely make for more work here. And, Alex has gotten a bunch, he's trying to get his hands in a whole bunch of producing with different artists, which is cool, especially if you can diversify the different artists that you work with. It's the different styles. It's really dope. I was listening to a lot of your stuff and it's very slow R&B, love-making type song, feel songs. And I was telling to Alex, man, I'd love to hear him do something different, jump on a bit of a fast pace, because your voice is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I just love to see something else. So are you guys working on future sounds?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, always. It doesn't stop like that. Yeah. But like that's definitely one of the things that's in the books. I think going forward, like we said, like with management and with everything we do nowadays, it's very experimental. So the sound that we're trying to encapsulate in the future is definitely not going to be like what we did before. So that's I think the only thing that we're really going off is that diversity is the difference. So definitely, you know what I mean? Like I can 100%, like I agree with you. The last 2 years of music has been slow, that lovemaking sort of R&B kind of fueled soul kind of thing. But going forward, it's definitely been a heightened sort of point for us that we got to start being like different, you know what I mean? And different isn't always like a crazy sound. Different is just doing you. But in a different way, something that you haven't explored yet in your career.
For sure, man. Well, explain the meaning behind, I guess, your EP title, World Star, because when I first,
shake my hand.
Because when I first saw the title, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the hardest album, aggressive, like people are gonna be punching, just like the World Star website and shit. But it's obviously not that.
Oh man. I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually one of our biggest topics. We made the first song that we ever made for that EP was an interlude, World Star interlude, which was by far the most different song that we've ever made.
I love that song. I just love the creation of that song.
And we were in the studio in the garage, and we were like, all these sounds started coming out. I played these chords. Yeah. I played these weird chords that we'd never played before, and it sounded like a Peaky Blinders song. You know that show?
Yes.
I fucking love that show.
Yeah.
And it sounded really like weird bluesy kind of thing. We're like, oh, let's just keep going with it. Let's see what happens. And he starts adding drums. Then I add the bass. And then it just turned into this really weird thing that we've never heard before.
Yeah.
That we have never heard before in the scene. And it's definitely one of my lowest performing songs. And I will 100% believe that it's because it's different. But it was just such a good process. The feeling during making that song, for some reason everything was working out. There was no inhibitions about it sounding like anything else, because everything that we were doing, everything that he made to the beat and the lyrics that I was writing and the melodies that I was writing, they were just working, and they were different. And we called it World Star. Well, the chorus, the song is basically an argument, argument with a girl or whoever. And Worldstar, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I literally say it'd be like Worldstar, and that's it's just, this sums up a relationship full of arguments. And then the meaning of Worldstar sort of transitioned and sort of transcended into something different when we wanted to make it like a cohesive project. We definitely wanted to have that song as like the pinpoint. I was very unsure about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was super unsure about it just because it was like a low performing song. And this was when I was all up in my head about streams and connecting to people, and you know what he does. He convinces me. And he's like, nah, it's not about that. Like, it's a different song. You got to put it out. So we put it out. We put the interlude out before everything, before we even knew we were going to do an EP. And then we were like, come, I think, August time or July, August, we have all these tracks, and like, what do we want to name the EP? And we end up naming it Worldstar. Yeah, after back and forth discussions. We end up naming it Worldstar, but the meaning to the EP isn't that, like, you know, it's not the meaning of that song. It doesn't, like, you know, translate to that. It was like a statement that we were trying to make. Like, that's who I am. Like, that's who I want to be. And that's where I will be. Like, Worldstar.
Like, you want to get to that level.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was a statement. It was like an ode to my future self or something like that. And like, the songs definitely sort of didn't really translate to what we were doing, but there was something that was cohesive in that project. Also, the 5-song EP was the confidence in each song. Like, you had Vice, which is probably like a very upbeat sort of hard song in my opinion, for like R&B funk sort of soul. And then it was just like, there was like this guaranteed sort of confidence throughout each song, this swag. But yeah, that's what Worldstar was. Worldstar came from a song being so different to then being like, this is what I want to be. I want to be a Worldstar.
Was it a tough process going to making that album, that EP, because you sound like it flowed to you so well?
I loved making that EP personally, because it was the first time where I got to like sound design an EP cohesively, which I feel like gets done, but like not enough, I guess. And so it was cool to be like, yo, like, I have this idea for this sound that we could sort of do right now. And we just sort of embodied that sound. Like, we were only listening, we made a playlist, 8 hours worth of tracks, and it's just like stuff from the 70s, like 70s soul, funk. Like, I was getting into fusion funk. I was like, I was going crazy. Like, it's all I was listening to.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, like really low key bands, really getting into it, and I think that definitely heavily influenced that EP. But it was cool to be able to make something that's like the sounds are sort of cohesive in that sense, because I'd never really done that before.
It definitely flowed.
It
definitely flowed, and from all aspects too, from the production to the melodies and things like that, and even to the features we had on that EP. Blessed to have people like Olivia feature on Rocksway Love and Rinny on Temptation. So it was a good process, you know, going through that all. We had Aldwin from RMR mix and mastered the whole thing. I recorded all the songs.
And Peter.
Peter did Worldstar.
Iconic
Beats. He did Worldstar, and he killed that. And then the other 4 songs I recorded at Aldwin's, and then I think the beat for Serenity I made. It was not really a beat. It's honestly just guitar. But it was good. It was a good process. It was definitely a lot of collaboration, as you all said. But I think that's definitely, very proud of that EP.
It's just a progression of him as an artist, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
That was what we wanted to make, you know what I mean? Now that it's out, he can look for something else, you know what I mean? Where he finds inspiration now.
Definitely felt that like growth and like development last year, being all locked down and things like that, but still having the sort of the grind, the ability to just keep making songs. Like, at the first opportunity we could go into the studio, we were there.
You had a good team already kind of built at that stage. You had people who could also push you to like, you know, come to the studio, do this. I can imagine for artists who are by themselves, or, you know, maybe just have a producer or that, it would be so much harder to create that energy.
So important.
Especially at that time, I'm
just blessed to have people like, you know, like we all gravitated towards each other, like, you know, like it was meant to be kind of thing.
It's funny you say that, actually, because I feel like we keep a pretty closed, not closed, but I think we have our team, you know what I mean? we sort of use our team. Like, we don't really branch off that much.
Yeah. It keeps you strong. It's support.
Yeah.
You know.
I think there's a difference between like having your team and then collaborating. You know what I mean? I think there's sort of two different things. I guess.
Yeah. I think it's a good backfall, you know. It's always like, you know, someone's going to lift you up when you
You've always got somewhere to go.
Yeah,
exactly right. Because like all the biggest artists in the world have their circle. You know what I mean? As much as they collaborate with so many artists, feature on their albums, they have features and things like that, they have their inner circle. They have people that they turn to, and that's like the most important thing to have, to be able to lean on someone when one, you're unsure, two, you need guidance, or three,
because we're always self-critical of our own shit.
Of course.
Anything that we do, you know.
And you know what? Like, if that's your only opinion, then I feel like you're at a loss. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important for any artist to not go and seek a team, but be open to collaboration, because that's what brings into fruition the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it didn't start off as soon as I saw him, oh, you're my manager, I'm your artist. You know what I mean?
I knew it in my head though.
You know what's going on.
Chill.
He needs guidance. What's he doing?
Hold on. Nah. Man, what the fuck?
Real, man.
No, it was good. We played pool. That was the first time we met. We played pool. And I was like, hey, man.
How long ago was this, by the way? When you guys met first?
March, 2 years ago.
Wow, that's fresh. Yeah, that's young.
Yeah, much years. But I feel like I've known this guy for like years.
Yeah.
And that's how it's good like that, because we just connected like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a manager-artist relationship. We grew as people together. So definitely have a lot more that we connected on. And I think that plays a very, very vital role in what we create. Because we're both going through things, you know what I mean? And it isn't always just about what I'm trying to say. Because I love the fact that when Isiah creates, it comes from a special place for him as well. So definitely, it's like a piece of both of us.
It's like passion, you know?
You
know, it's creative, you know? It's just been creating and letting out those emotions and feelings in your artwork,
I think meeting you was like a very pinnacle part of like my life, I think, because like I've been trying for so long to like get into something, you know what I mean, in the Melbourne scene, like specifically music, you know what I me? So like
it's hard, man.
Yeah, the fact that he agreed, I was like, wow, this is like, you know what I mean, I'm gonna like run with this, you know what I mean? Literally, like, I've been trying for so long, so it's good.
Yeah. And I'm surprised to hear that, I guess, maybe not necessarily outsourced, but you went to Melbourne for engineering, because I thought you did a bit of engineering yourself.
No, not at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I can't engineer.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm saying this on the camera. I can't engineer. No one asked me for engineering. I can't.
Okay, fair enough.
I've tried so hard. People ask me for it. I still can't do it.
Yeah, it's a worse when people
I think it's just a different world.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, I think production, to me, specifically, is like creative, and it's like how can I come with these new ideas? And then when I come to like mixing them out, it's like all these fucking numbers. You know what I mean? You have to keep it at 200 hertz, and like I'm just like, what? Like
that's so funny, because I was exactly like that. I'm just like, I just want to produce the mixing and mastering. Like, there's nothing creative in that. It's just all tech and all that sort of stuff. But like getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I actually want to mix and master my music because I want the best quality sound. And then I ended up finding some creativeness and love in it. So, I think
you feel like you found it.
Yeah. So I think that's going to transition for you if you keep at it, you know, definitely.
I can mix my beats like fine.
That's dope,
but nothing more than that, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess maybe your start in the game was producing for Olivia. So like, how did that link happen?
That came after. So I set up the studio for Reese. We'd been working for about 3, 4, 5 months, I think. And then Liv and I met at Rinny's concert backstage. She was venting to me about like her music and stuff, like so.
So guys, she's off camera now, and luckily
looks very embarrassed.
Looks very embarrassed. And, I guess she's glad she's not on camera, I guess.
Well, stop. You keep going, bro.
Anyway, and so we set up a first session. It was the first time I'd worked with an artist that wasn't Reese. So I was freaking the fuck out. Like, I'd made this beat, and she was just there, like, doing this. And I'm like, oh, do you like it? And she's like, yeah. It's like, just nothing, and I wasn't getting anything. Like
give me
I was
more.
freaking out. I was like, oh, shit, like, she hates it. Like,
Yeah,
oh, my God, like, she's probably used to, like, big studios. You know, she's coming into the garage. Like, I was freaking out. I was so scared. Like, but the first track that we ever made is actually, well, I don't want to give any secrets, but like it turned out to be really, really good now, and it's something that we're looking at, you know, so like re-record and stuff. So it's like it'll be special if that comes out, because that's like that was the first track that I ever made like for her, and that, like it turned out to be really good. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh yeah.
Have you found working with new artists after that experience?
Sure.
Come on, man.
I just got off an A&R camp with On3. You know On3?
On3 Studio?
Yeah. It's like their little, you know, label doing their own thing in Melbourne. And so I worked with all their artists, producing and stuff. I think it was a good time to learn, because I'd never really like produced for other artists like that. So it was a good time to learn about like producing for other artists, and I definitely found out that I can't really produce for other artists like that. I think my style of production is very much like I have to know the artists I'm working with. I really have to know like where they're going, what they like. So I think my style is definitely more sound designing, you know what I mean, and really coming up with like in that creative aspect of like where can we go. I think that's why it ties in really well with management, is because it's like on the management front I know like what we're aiming for, you know what I mean. We're aiming for this to get to here. It's like, all right, cool, what sound will like allow us to sort of move in that area. So that's why I think they're like really related like that. That's how I see it, you know what I mean.
I guess it can be tricky for like a random artist to be like, oh, here's a type beat, make something like this.
Yeah,
you know
literally.
I mean?
Like I had all these and I've worked with a lot of like fresh artists as well, and they don't know themselves. It's like, I can't help you if you don't know what you want. You know what I mean? I need something to work off, you know what I mean? And I think artists get twisted a lot, because I think they think that like what they like to hear is what they want to make, and they're very different. Like what you're making creatively has to come from you. It has to be unique, and what you're listening to could be completely different. You know what I mean? Reese and I listen to hard trap like all the time. We don't make any of that. You know what I mean?
Don Toliver, man.
Yeah, shouts to Don Toliver.
I've been slamming His and Hers since it came out.
Oh man.
Really slamming What You Need.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I'm about to sing it, but like no. Honestly, like yeah, it's true though. We don't listen to the stuff that we make.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like it's just weird. But
you can get inspiration from them. You can, like,
definitely. Like,
but I think it's different.
There's things such as references and things like that. But like, yeah, if the shit that we listen to is definitely not what we make.
I think what I'm learning now is that like the process matters more than like the actual outcome of what we're making.
It sounds like you're more also intimate with like your creative relationship with the people. It's not transactional. It's more like, let me get to know who you are as a person. Let me know where you want to go and everything. So
100%.
It's different. Yeah, you can't work with many people when you have those sort of relationships in the music.
And I would love to be like a producer that can just make shit on the spot. You know what I mean? We just met with Jujo, because he's coming by our studio. That guy,
I've met him once. Yeah, I already think he's a freak. Like that's what he told us yesterday.
He's saying like, yeah, man, I made like these 6 tracks in like 2 hours. Just like, wow, like that's another level. Like I wish I could like just have that freedom to like sort of do it all. You know what I mean? But you know, if I'm stuck on a beat, I want to make sure that it's like it's in the sound that I'm looking for. If it's not, then like I have to start again and again and again, and it's like constantly like doing that, I guess. So I think it's been good to sort of learn that that's like what I'm best at, and I want to stick to that. You know what I mean?
I see that.
Even if it's different than what the industry or like what's happening in the scene, like the way I work as a producer, even if it's different, I still feel like it's the best way that I can make the best music with the artists I work with. So I feel like I stick to that.
Do you find it hard to like maybe say no, or like to people who come up and you know you'd want to work with them, but you don't know if you can go through that process with them?
Because I have had some artists that like I really like, and we've had sessions, and then they sit there, and I'm just like, oh god, like I don't know what the hell to make for you. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot more artists out there than you'd think that are really confused on what they make. You know what I mean? I think like a lot of artists, like it's very like easy for artists to like be like, I'm an artist, I do this and that, but I think no one talks about that. Like every single artist goes through the same thing. Like they all go through the same thing of like creative blocks and like, where am I going musically? Like, and no one talks about that. You know what I mean? So obviously on Instagram, everyone wants to look like, you know what I mean? They got shit tight, but every artist has that. Every artist goes through that. Like, it's not something you can really escape from. It's just part of the process. You know? So.
That's it, man. Shit, even for me, like, I don't want to show, like, if I'm having a fucking rough day. So I'm like, let me just chuck on an old fucking video where I'm making a fire beat or whatever. Like this today, you know what I mean? Like, I'll throw like that.
Throwbacks,
That's it, man. That's it,
good.
you know what I mean? Yeah, to stay looking like I'm fucking, consistent. But you're right, man. Like, fucking artists go through that, man. And so I'm tough to get out of that slumber.
I guess you just got to capitalize when you're on those highs, those creative, flows. Because I feel the same too when I'm taking photos or I'm having to create video content, and I'm like, I've felt so much the same the way you say when you work with people, because there's certain people I work with that I already have a relationship with, and I feel like as soon as I go and we're like, oh, let's do a shoot, I'm just like, I already know I'm so comfortable that it's something good is going to come out of it because how comfortable I am, and I know what they want and what their style is as well. So
it's a lot to do with energy as well. You know what I mean? Like anything creative is just a reflection of like the real life. You know what I mean? So if you don't know the artist and you don't know what they're going through, how are you gonna make something that like where they can tell their story if you don't know anything about them like that? You know what I mean?
Because the best music resonates.
Yeah.
So like there's when it's not real or it doesn't come from you, there's so many more barriers that stop you from being the best. You know what I mean? So it's important. I love that about Isiah, because like it's always about creativity and art first. You know what I mean? If it doesn't connect, then it isn't for you.
For sure.
Yeah, bad.
And when did I guess maybe you guys are still seeking this, but when do you guys feel like you got to a point of like confidence, like, okay, I know I'm the shit, I'm not good at this, or are you still kind of searching for that a little bit?
Bro, you need to start with that. How are you gonna make anything if you don't have that mentality? You need to start with that.
Shit, we feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
But like it isn't always the reality. Let's be real. But it's a big manifestation sort of mentality. Yeah, and that's something I've grown to learn quite recently. Because last 2 years was, for me is right to release. I never had to really think about like my sound and how am I going to leave a legacy? How am I going to release a song or release a piece of artwork, a piece of myself? And people are like, shit, that's R.L.King. You know what I mean? I've got some good songs, but like it's about time we step up. So that's the goal. That's the future goal. Creating with no expectations. Creating with the we were talking about it today. Creating with the mentality of just growth and being better. And I don't know if you all watched the short J. Cole documentary.
No, I haven't picked it yet.
It's from his from his album Off Season. Yeah. And he said like to himself, it's like you don't want to like look back and think that you weren't the best at what you were, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like that thought that like lingers in your head of like, oh, I could have done more. Like I could have been the best at this. I could have put in the work and been happy with the product that I make instead of being complacent. Falling into complacency is a big thing.
I think that real confidence is different from like a confidence that we know. You know what I mean? Yeah. That real confidence is like self-respect of like, I know I'm not the best, but I know I can make something. You know what I mean? And you have that confidence to make something. And when you're in that space of like your own self-confidence, it's not like you're trying to put anyone else down. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I'm better than this person or anything. It's like, no, you just know that you're good enough to make whatever it is you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you need to start with that.
You value your worth.
You need to start with that.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think you can make anything if you don't have that.
Positive affirmation. So I was like constantly. I'm good. I can get better. I can get better. Yeah.
Whether it be in which way that you want, subliminally, if if you firm that sort of shit, like, you know, it's it's important to like know your vision.
Mm-hmm. It's a feedback loop too, because when you do something that you're proud of, you know what I mean. I can look back at this EP all the time. I literally have it in my like journal. You know what I mean? It's like something that I accomplished, like to make a cohesive EP. I did that. Like now, when I step into a studio, it's like, all right, if I've known I've done that, I can do things again. You know what I mean? So it's like you're just building like this loop where you're constantly in that mode.
That's it. Are you hoping to do a project for Olivia?
Of course. We've been working.
Hold up.
We've been working.
Yeah.
We've been working for a while now. So I think it's good. I think Olivia doesn't have a body of work yet to really like present to the world.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it'd be good to finally do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm curious. Which tracks did you produce for her?
The ones that are out at the moment is Take It All.
That's a joint, bro.
Yeah, you like that one?
Such a good song.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit hard. You know what I mean? The hardest one I've made.
Okay.
And then ILWY, In Love With You. And In
That was
Love
shot
With
during
You.
quarantine, wasn't it? With
Yeah, that took a whole last year to make. From start to finish.
Okay.
Entire year, yeah.
Waste my phone.
I'm exposing her right now. Olivia's very like based upon her quality of work. You know what I mean? I think that's very like at a high standard, and also like something that she regards to be like an important part of her work. I think so. Making sure that everything's right for her before anything gets released is like super important.
Yeah, for sure. And any other tracks, or those are the only two that's...
Are those the only two that are released right now?
Yeah.
There's only two.
I thought he produced Attention.
Right now.
Attention was done. Oh, I know this. I had to hit him up. Sangria, yeah.
Oh, that was a great track too.
Yeah,
it was a good video. I know Francis did that video, didn't he? Yeah, he did a great job on the video.
That was a funny shoot.
I feel it's funny. I feel like people have been ripping you off because like I've seen other people do music videos at that location now. And shit.
That location was dope. That location was super cool.
Yeah.
Being there, it's actually like really spacious. It was cool to get.
Yeah, for sure.
No. I love lyrics. It's a good time. We're here, out here with Real Melbourne in Melbourne. Come on now. It's good.
Streaming worldwide.
Oh my god. Yeah, shit. I mean, yeah, not to pry too personal or whatever, but I'd be interested to ask, like, what's actually better, producing for Olivia or dating Olivia?
Oh, god damn.
My god. Hold on.
Cut.
Hey, take a sip of your water. Don't be left.
He's gonna have to
left.
plead the fifth of no one.
Just take a drink real quick.
Yes. That's right.
Fucking hell.
How do I say?
Come on, man.
Damn.
This is preparation.
Preparation for what?
They're gonna be asking way worse shit down the track. You know what I mean? This is coming from a good place. Come on now.
Of course.
No, it's good. I mean, our relationship is very. I think it's very deep for me personally. So I think like we both know how to keep work separate really well, which is something that's like really hard to do. I think like normally,
For
but
sure.
we're both like insanely hard workers, so we definitely know when to like separate ourselves. So. Yeah,
that can be very difficult for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Creative, especially in the creative like realm, it's even worse because you feel like ideas would come every time and you'd want to always be doing something as well. Yeah,
I think it's good because we just sort of we both get it. We both understand. You know what I mean? Like we get the process really well. So
And also, like, creativity
it's amazing.
is personal. You know what I mean? So that comes from the same.
This track's
place.
gonna be the best you ever heard.
the next track. Very personal.
You know, producer artist relationships. It's not that uncommon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
About Swiss Beats and
I was thinking,
Keys.
but they don't even work together really.
Yeah,
like they keep their shit
on,
like
man.
kind of separate.
Yeah, I feel like they don't have to work
Summer
together
Walker.
either.
Yeah.
Summer Walker in London.
And London.
Yeah,
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Executive
the biggest
producer.
R&B album from a female stream.
Yeah, she's actually the biggest artist.
So we're up
Female artist.
next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And the sound that they've got together is just crazy. Like, that album was just.
Yeah, it was insane, wasn't it?
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Biggest Summer Walker fans.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy.
She could have popped off out of nowhere, to be honest.
Yeah, it sucks that she wants to make candles or some shit. Wants to make soaps or whatever. She doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to do albums anymore.
Man's just heartbroken.
Come on, man. Drake makes candles as well.
She doesn't want to do albums anymore. That sucks for the fans. Like, I appreciate all the body of work that she's dropped. If she never drops again, like, I'll be sad, but I'll be like, look, as long as you're happy, whatever.
That's the most whatever.
Right.
He's like breaking up with her. As long as you're happy, man.
Fans, we're so fickle, aren't we? We're so fickle, man. We're tight asses.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, do you guys kind of see yourselves as a bit of a power couple in Melbourne, like as far as like creators or?
Come on now.
I mean, let the people decide, but
For sure.
for sure, I think so. Yeah.
I think it's you guys versus Tintendo and Turquoise.
Oh, that's wow. Tentendo's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, he's a mad producer.
Yeah. I can't think of anyone else really off the cuff anyway.
Yeah, not neither.
It's a real.
It's cool. I remember the first time I
couples
saw
of
her.
Melbourne.
Yeah. The first time I saw her was crazy. She was playing at Rinny's show.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, like Rinny's first show at the Workers Club. I wasn't even doing music back then. And so seeing her on stage, I was like blown away. I was like, damn, this is like something else. You know what I mean?
It, man.
And that's when I really wanted to start pushing to get into the scene like that.
Yeah, we've known Turquoise since high school actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got this old ass fucking recording of her doing like a fucking cover of somebody I used to know. So it's like that fucking old like 2012 type shit. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
She's super nice.
Yeah,
and super talented. Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool because his show sort of linked up on the second anniversary of the time that I saw Olivia at Workers Club. So it was like a nice feeling, you know what I mean? Because back at that stage, my car broke down that night when I saw Olivia. I was like full homeless, and like that car was like the last thing that I was using to like sleep in and stuff. And so like it broke down like 10 minutes before his show. It broke down like around Fitzroy area. I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Like I don't even know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. And I still went to the show, and like seeing everyone there, like I just forgot about everything. I was like, wow, I just need to be in this scene. Like whatever this is, like this is talent. You know what I mean? Yeah. I need to like be around this and like help like with whatever I can. You know what I I mean? So,
let's not skip over this homeless thing, bro. So like how'd you get to that situation, man?
It was basically just a classic like little argument with the family. At the time I was doing physiotherapy. I was in my course and I was like a year in, and I dropped that, and it had been like 6 months or 8 months since when I dropped that. And I was working with like this guy on West Side, and he had like this clothing brand. So like that's where I really learned how to like do meetings and like how to do video shoots and stuff. Like I really learned that from him. And part of that clothing brand, I was like, I want to start like a music side of this, like to bring like people into the clothing thing, which is how like the Melbourne thing started. You know what I mean? But my parents were basically like, you either have to get a job or like go back to uni at that stage, because I'd fucked up 2 courses. I got enrolled into this really amazing course that I always wanted, like as a kid, this Bachelor of Entrepreneurship at the University of Canberra. It was a crazy course that I even got accepted, because I didn't get accepted my first year after high school. And then because I'd done all that work with that guy in like the clothing industry and stuff, I used that to present the second year. And I finally got accepted, and like it was an amazing opportunity because it's like very limited people. You have to live in China for a year and learn the trade business. Then you have to go over to Silicon Valley, and you get to meet all the people to start So it was crazy that I even got accepted, and I dropped it in a month. Like within the first month, I was like, nah. Like I just want to do it myself. Like I don't want to learn how to do it. Like I want to live it. You know what I mean? Like I want to live it. And learn that way. So yeah, I dropped that. My parents were like, well, you either have those options or like you don't live here anymore. And I feel like they did that to like, make me go back to the course. And I was like, all right, bet. I literally grabbed my stuff and I just walked out like that night, like straight up, like just grabbed my stuff and I left, and I started living. For about 2 months, I was like going back and forth, like West Side. I was living in like parks, you know, at the beach and stuff. It's really hard to like sort of live with the car because like you're always scared that like cops will come and like, you know, like take you away and stuff. So you, like every night I'd have to move like 3 or 4 times. You know, like I have to get up. I'd have like an alarm on my phone. Get up,
move. The car this time?
Yeah, still had the car, and I'd like move to a different location. You know what I mean? Sleep there for a couple more hours, and then
that's gotta be stressful.
Yeah, I think it just takes a lot, like to sort of live basic stuff. You know what I mean? Because then every morning you have to go to McDonald's, charge your phone, then you have to go to the pools to like have a shower. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you can start your day. But that's where I really like thought a lot about like my life and like my legacy, I guess, and like what I want to do. So that period was like amazing. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the stuff and a lot of the learnings and stuff that I take today came from that period of time. Of like learning that, yeah. Yeah,
and it's dope that you're not ashamed to talk about it as well as a period in your life, and you know, I guess now you've overcome it. Like, how were you able to get out of that situation?
After a couple months, like 3 or 4 months, like because I'd been working so much and stuff, like my mom called me in tears. She was like, I can't believe I've waited this long to even talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, can you please come back?
Did they know your situation at the time or no?
Not at all. Like, yeah, not at all. I think it was more of like a stubbornness of like, oh, you left, like you're gonna be back type thing, and then I never came back. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it was that sort of area. But then after that, a bit more supportive. You know what I mean? Like, Mum's garage we got to use for the studio thing. Yeah. But I think ever since then, my parents don't really like care what I do from here on out. You know what I mean? Because like I proved, I guess, in that sense that like I'm just doing my own thing. You know what I mean?
And you give it your all.
Yeah, 100%.
You were all in. Yeah. So that's another.
I think it's an important thing that like to sort of prove to yourself that like you're willing to sort of like die. You know what I mean? For this, you know what I mean?
And it's
like
that,
it's an important thing, I guess.
From being homeless, which like the only way is up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not much further you can go.
They must have shown how much you loved. They must have seen how much you loved this.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
path, and now they just accept it.
I think there's a lot more worse out there. You know what I mean? We have it really lucky here, insanely lucky, which I think is why, you know, I think it translates into music as well. As to why people like aren't so experimental, like have that hunger or drive for it, especially because we have it super nice here. You know what I mean? So, which I feel like in other parts of the world they don't have, which is translates into the art. You know
That's good, man.
So
we're so blessed here.
Yeah, we are.
Well, speaking of, like, you've gone to Cambodia to help out children there and do some teaching. Like, speak on that and how that situation come about.
Oh, please, me too. Blessed to be able to do that. I went to high school in Dandenong, and we had this thing in year 12 where they would, instead of going to schoolies, they'd call something called coolies. Yeah. And it was basically they'd help you fund a trip to go to a school that we fund in Cambodia, in a village. And they were like, they'd select a group of us, and we'd go over there and teach and collect materials all year round, fundraise, and take it all over there and teach the kids. So I did that when I was in year 12. I taught music and English, and then I went back a couple of years ago, I think 2019.
Yeah, you went back.
Yeah.
When Cambodia was
What was that, sorry?
When Cambodia.
I went to Phnom Penh and Siem Reap. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful place, man. Definitely one of my most favorite. Most favorite place on earth. One of my most favorite places on earth. Yeah. It's just, I think the best part about Cambodia is that the people there have nothing, but they're still happy. You know what I mean? It puts it into perspective.
And they went through a lot of like hardship.
Man.
I went there. That was my first solo trip I ever traveled by myself.
Amazing.
Yeah. And like seeing everyone how they were affected by the genocide and everything.
Yeah, Pol Pot.
It showed me so much how like they were so nice people. They were just
such nice people,
nice, and everyone's gone through that, and I think they value each other so much more because they went through that hardship and they know where they've come from. And it's crazy to see. It's really nice to see. It's a change. It's such a big change coming from here.
It's a big reality check going to a place like that.
Yeah.
Big reality check. I was meant to go to Japan the year that I was going to Cambodia, and then my high school calls me up and they're like, "Hey, we'd love for you to be a mentor on this trip, blah blah blah." I dropped it. Like, I literally had flights to Japan. And I dropped it and I said, I'm going to Cambodia.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a heartbeat. If they ask me again, I'll do it again. It's just, it's like, obviously, it's sort of selfish to say it's self-rewarding, because you don't go there to feel like you've done something great. It's there for them and only them. And it's just beautiful to see that you are playing a part in making someone's life better. And these kids, like, they start school at 3 years old, and you're teaching them English, which is something that would definitely help them down the track and getting jobs. And you see the effort they put in to come to school. Their parents take ferries and then ride a scooter across an island to the village. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's insane to think of like what they go through to give to their families. And we come there for 2 weeks, and we just give our all as much as we can.
Definitely. And how'd you find actually teaching, music?
I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. Sweet.
Loved it.
Difficult at all?
No. Yeah. No. These kids are super receptive. Super, super engaging and receptive, because they've never experienced anything like it. You know what I mean? So when we're telling them to sing songs and we're telling them how to... My first trip, we were teaching them fucking time signatures. Like actual rhythmic things in music, and that shit's like advanced. These kids are like getting it, and it was just amazing to see. It was just so like you'd feed off each other. And the last trip was hard because the kids had gone even younger, and it's just a blessing. Yeah, just a blessing to be able to do that. Because if there's anything that I recommend once in your life, is to definitely do missionary work, at least once in your life. Whether it be in Cambodia, wherever, you'll definitely find a new quality of or perspective of your own life. It's just insane. Yeah. See, I come back to this country and I have a bed to sleep on. It's a privilege. You know what I mean? Breathing over there is a privilege. You know what I mean? I would walk down Siem Reap, the river, the stream. In Main Point, and I would see the one thing that will always stick with me is this one thing where I saw this father holding 2 kids in his hands like this, one here, and in his hand he was sniffing paint. It's like that full on. You know what I mean? You're sniffing paint.
Oh, he was sniffing paint.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the purpose behind that?
It gives you a high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like the textures or whatever, as well.
Yeah, the chemicals give you high, and it was quite like I was taken back, because I wasn't even 18 when I first went, and when I saw that, I still remember the full image vividly. I've seen that, and it's like they have nothing, man, and they still have to look after their kids. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they're dead. Yeah. And it's that's the hard truth. You know what I mean? And beautiful place. Yeah. Beautiful country. The culture is so rich there. And what we're speaking about, the genocide and things like that happened in Cambodia. They are so inversed in into their culture and their history. They don't try and forget it.
They don't shy, like a lot of people I've met. They were openly like, oh, my uncle or my auntie or my grandma was affected, but I was taken away, or this happened. So they're very in touch. Yeah.
And you know what? What was it? 70s?
Yeah, I think it was
pretty
70s.
Recently. It was 70s. So that's
it was still very early. It's not long ago.
That's if you had a grandparent, that's them. You know what I mean? And they've got genocide museums. They've got all these temples and the killing fields. Yeah, it's full on. It's full on. There, but they hold these things for awareness, because this is something that is them. This is what they've been through. This is why they're like this. This is what drives them to do what they do in their life. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love that place.
It's definitely a great place.
Yeah, did you have similar experience when you went there?
Yeah, I still think it's one of my favorite places in Asia. I've met nicer people than in Cambodia. Right. The people there were just another level. And I'd love to go back. I feel like I travel around too much, but I'd love to go back there and take someone close to me there, because
yeah,
that would be
like to share that. It's special.
Yeah, it's
it
one
is
of those
special.
things where you don't want to take someone who's close to you, because it means so much. Yeah, I was shit scared there.
You went Cambodia too.
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, I did,
I'm out here like,
that's
great.
everyone's
Except me, right?
I was there too.
It was my first trip there, and when I got there, I was like, I'd never been to Asia before as well, so I got down there and like everyone
coming up to you, tuk-tuks.
Dude, I was like, I call my friend, like, I'm like, hey, I'm stressing out. There's people everywhere. I didn't know what to do, and I had all my camera stuff on me, and I was like, oh. But after the first day, and I felt so. Walk down the streets by myself and whatever, you just feel like, people are just living their own lives. No one's really out to get you.
Yeah.
People are just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Definitely. How was your experience then in Cambodia?
It was good. Same thing, like through school. I was 16 though, so I was a bit younger. And that was it was a weird program that my school ran. Like, there's like 20 of us, and we each had to like fundraise our trip there. And then when we were there, like, it was basically like free for all. Like, we had to learn how to like budget, travel where we wanted to go, like what we were gonna eat. So like, it was good. Like, I think that's important life skills, I guess. Like,
and to do it in another country. That's another world.
I definitely like to go back and like actually look at the history and stuff, because it was more of like oh shit, like we're gonna die tonight because we don't have anywhere to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it was more of like you know what I mean? Like, we've got this much money, we need to save it. You know what I mean? So I don't think I got to like experience the culture like that.
Like a goal to reach, so you can at least
to survive for the month, come back in one piece. Like,
what the fuck?
We had another like a sister school, bro. We had a sister school that like had saved up their money and they missed their flight, and so they couldn't physically pay for their ticket, so they didn't get to go. Wow. They'd spent like 12 months like saving up money.
Who organizes this?
I can't remember what it is.
Shout out to school.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Like that school.
It was crazy.
Don't send your kids there.
Yeah, it was cool.
Bro, what a scam.
You pay them to...
You can raise some money for us.
Backdoor the plane company.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
Nice.
High school was weird, yeah. It was a transition going from primary school to high school as well. At primary school, I was living on West Side.
Oh, okay.
And I went to high school to Baldwin on East Side. And I went from St. Albans to Baldwin.
That's a trip.
It was like the biggest...
Did you reside in Baldwin when you moved there, or were you traveling commuting the whole time?
My parents, like my dad started getting contracts out in like East Side. So like we're living in Doncaster, but you know, barely. Coming from like St. Albans to Doncaster, like Jesus, like... Yeah, it was a bit tough, like, for the family like that, but yeah, it's super different, like, being in primary school and, like, the way people, like, talk and stuff, and then you're going into, like, Bowen, and it's, like, everyone's, like, talking very prim and proper.
Different people, different demographics
people.
And stuff.
Completely, man. Like, primary school is, like, is very, like, cultured, you know what I mean? Like, we had all different ethnicities, like, in St. Albans, and then I go to high school in Bowen, and it's, like, I'm, like, the biggest one out, like I'm the odd one out, like everyone's just white, like completely, like it was crazy, and like they all talk differently, and it was so weird, like but I think it's good, like I think that like learning has like helped now, because I feel like I can talk to anyone, you know what I mean, obviously.
Yeah, with all that being said, which side is the best side?
Come on.
I think no, I have to give it to the West Side.
Come on, man.
I have to give it to the West Side. You have to, like,
West Side is,
like you know your neighbors and shit. You know what I mean? Like I miss that. Like East Side, like everyone's just in their houses. You know what I mean? Like no one talks to each other. There's no sense of like community like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I miss that. Like being on West Side where everyone's like together. You know what I mean? Huh?
What a liar.
What a liar.
R.L. doesn't like it.
This guy, Southeast.
Yeah. Did you ever get robbed being in St. Albans?
3 times.
Oh yeah, there we go.
3 times.
What's with everyone having bags? You see, I've lived in St. Albans for 10 years now. And
yeah, but you were older when you first came to Australia. Like you were like 15, 16. Like when I got robbed, it was like 13, 14.
Sometimes it were worst back then.
I was like 8 years old. I remember the first time my house got robbed. Man, it was so weird. I come back from school. I'm like, and the door's already open. I'm like, what the hell? And I go in the door and like all the DVDs are down, and I was super young, and I was like, I didn't watch any movies like this morning. Like, why is everything out? And then like 2 hours later, there's all these coppers, and I was like so young. I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's so weird, like as a kid, because you're like, damn, someone's like in my house, you know, like in my space. It's like, it's just a weird feeling.
Yeah, but even like one-on-one confrontation. Like, did you ever get that as well?
No. As a kid, yeah. I got chased by another kid with a knife. Alright, this is weird. This is gonna sound weird.
Let's go.
I gotta get into this. This kid was on a fucking like a unicycle. You know, like there's like a uni.
One wheel.
Yeah, one wheel, and he's going up and down the street, and I'm coming back from school, and I'm looking at it like I have to walk past him, and then he goes inside, and he comes out with like this massive knife. And he starts running after me, and I was like 11 years old. I was like, oh shit! Like, I just sprinted, like, but it's weird. It's like why was he on a unicycle? I don't know. There's so many questions. So many questions. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but was he nice on it? Because there's some people on unicycles that don't know how to ride it. So like,
he's pretty good with it.
That's dangerous.
West Side.
He's like the same age as me. I'm like, man, why are you at school?
He's in circus, bro.
Maybe that's what it was. It's like just juggling knives.
Come see my knife, man.
Maybe I looked at it differently.
Man, that's wild.
Man, so nice. Just start running, bro.
Yeah.
West Side World Star.
West Side. Damn. I also think that a lot of creative people come from
100%.
West Side, Southeast. I think in the more privileged places, I don't think people are creative like that because they don't have to be. And I think it's like, that's what I love about like culture, I guess, like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think people that like come from harder upbringings are more creative in that sense. You know what I mean? They have like a hungrier drive to do shit with their lives that means something. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Like, so yeah, I think like all the artists either come from Southeast or
There's
West.
a few coming out from the North.
Olivia's from the North.
Sorry.
North Side.
No, they all come from West.
What are you talking about?
You need
North
to chill.
Side is like,
Yo,
I'm from the ghetto.
That's test Town too. That's goddamn.
Alright, get roasted, man.
So you're gonna hear that on the trombone.
I can't wait till she sits here. She's got a lot to say.
She's gonna be like, remember that podcast like a few weeks ago? I'm back.
You definitely need her on now.
I wish we had a camera on her.
Oh man,
You need her on now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because you're right. Like it's either far east or like even the east for me seems like a foreign place. Like I never come past the city ever. So like going down there, it's like I probably would never.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. I probably never link up with those people unless it was like an event in the city or somewhere that we met up. Because it's.
Well, yeah. Like, I was in Southeast all my life. Still am. And he's like, oh, I've got a studio in Ringwood.
Well, he's good.
Yeah, the first one that we had, the garage. And I was like, where's that? Like, I was like, what's that, man?
Even the people in the Southeast don't know where it's at.
Yeah, like East Side was like, well, that's a bit weird, man. Yeah. Like, that's... And it was all right. It was really easy to get to, obviously. But, when you're in these places like West Side and Southeast, I think are quite similar to each other in terms of demographic and diversity of culture and things like that. And it's like everything else is another world. Like Spotswood, I've never heard of Spotswood.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, we're in Spotswood. Like,
I was like, what the fuck is Spotswood?
I was like, that's West Side. He's like, what?
It's like, because honestly, like I've been to the West. I went to uni in West Side. And St. Albans, that's the only places that I've really been. Sunshine, St. Albans.
Bro, we're talking about this in the car. He's like, man, I felt at home in St. Albans.
I literally did. Because Dandenong and St. Albans, Sunshine, very similar. Very similar. I don't mean to say this, but the sketchiness of the hood.
It's crazy because I was with a friend the other day and he grew up in Dandenong and went Footscray. He's like, bro, these streets remind me of Dandenong. I'm like, come gentrify now.
It is so similar. They are so similar to each other. And I was literally saying, like, when I was at uni or when I went on my placements and things like that in St. Albans, I was like, this shit is normal. Like people coming from like, you know, CBD and like central places and east side also, and they were like, yeah man, it's so dodgy out here, it's like scary. Motherfucker, I take my dog for a walk around this time. Like, yeah, it was good though, because it was like you're seeing a different world, but it's still the same. Yeah.
You got HP boys on your street, huh?
Literally. See them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, see them.
So like you pretty much know like their ends and like where they shot their music videos and all that sort of stuff.
Literally, man. I got like, I don't know which song it was. Probably Blueprint. They shot it at the tattoo parlor that I got my first tattoo at.
Right.
It was like down the street, like, you know what I mean. Like they're very big, like very well known in our
drill scene's going crazy.
Yeah, 1-4 HP boys. All these guys.
We saw 1-4 there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you all met them.
Yeah.
Nice. Where's that?
They're in Sydney. So.
Oh, you went to Sydney to meet them, did you?
Yeah, Liv and I went to Sydney for like a business trip. Like we're meeting different people. We just happened to be at the studio. And they pulled up in the car. It was so funny, man.
Wait, so you were in Mount Druitt or somewhere else?
No. So their studio is in Marrickville.
Okay.
The studio's in Marrickville. Yeah.
Speak up.
The studio is crazy. It's like full. Like every like door on the security is like insane. Like it's full like securityed up like insanely. And like they're so nice, man. They came out of the car. They're like, "Oh, come in." You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh shit!" Like you can talk about it all you want. When you see them in real life, you're like, "Oh shit!" Like you know, like these people are real. You know what I mean? Like that presence that people carry. It's like it's real. You know?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, they were nice as fuck. Like,
did they have a crew with them, an entourage with them? Or
there was just like 3 of them. I think they're using their studio. There, yeah, so it's cool. It's a cool time. Yeah, drill's going crazy.
Drill's going crazy. One of my friends opened up for Young Lips the other day, part of an act. Jama. Yeah, Jama opened up.
Yeah.
Shout your friend out, bro.
Jama, man. I don't know if he wants to be shouted out. That's the only thing, bro. He's working on his stuff, and but we went to Jama opened up, and we went to see the show, for him performing and support and everything. And I think out of 4 opening acts, he was the only one who was doing like trap. Rap stuff and everyone else. All the others were drill groups.
No way.
So all young kids coming through as well. And I'm like, there must be heaps. The influence is so crazy that there's a lot of people doing it now. It's like,
I've met Jama once. He's a nice guy.
He's
works hard.
The people really want it.
Yeah, he's got lots of stuff working on, and I think he's rolling out his stuff soon. So it's exciting times for him. Yeah,
that's dope. Yeah. My one of my like close high school friends runs those nights at Empire.
Oh yeah.
DJ Hayes.
Okay.
He's one that like hosts those artists that come there. Mm-hmm. So he's doing well. Like it's pretty good. Like it's Southeast. You know
Yeah.
So you know Avi as well, or Avi's no longer a part of it?
I have no clue.
Okay, gotcha.
I just know Hayden.
Hayden, it's just dope though.
Yeah. So he's I think high management for those nights and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Like these things happening south, and like artists agreeing to come to the Southeast. You know what I mean? Because it's not it's not central.
Exactly.
Definitely not fucking central.
But like it's cool.
Yeah, I've never been. That was my first time to Empire, and it was very grand. But he's from Dandenong, Jama.
Okay.
He's from those ends.
Yeah.
People have been very familiar, but. With all the artists, you've performed a couple of times for some opening artists.
I've DJ'd there for like my own sets and also for Sean Kingston opening up as well. So
that's
people out there.
Yeah, they are like it's easy.
Wasn't there?
Bow Wow. Yeah.
Sean Kingston's performance was funny as fuck though, because it's just like. There was something going wrong with the fucking sound tech and the issues and all that sort of stuff. Then he was just fucking, like, on the mic, like, he was just abusing the guy, like, in front of everyone. And he performed half these tracks a cappella. And it was actually a nice touch, and he was professional about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He did end his set, like, a little bit early, but, it was just so fucking... It was just so fucking weird, to hear a performance just a cappella only. But he's got those songs where you sing along anyway, so it works. But that was a very interesting performance, man.
I think it's weird when artists like be mean to their crew and stuff when they're doing a performance, because it's so weird. You sort of get like broken out of that that world, you're like, oh shit, like.
But sometimes it's like an act.
Yeah.
Because like there was a story about Biggie. I don't know if you've seen that YouTube video where he throws the bottle at the DJ.
Oh,
what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
I saw that.
But yeah, you've seen that. But yeah, like the story goes, like the DJ, he said, oh, you know, at the hotel room afterwards, like he had a bunch of girls waiting for me, and he's like, look, I know, you know, there was just some tech issues, whatever, but I had to do that for the performance or whatever, you know what I mean? So he kept like, it was kind of like a unspoken rule G thing type thing. I don't know. Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Can't be doing that shit now.
Yeah.
Have you had times where you've gone to perform and like the crowd doesn't give you anything, and then how do you react to that?
Oh,
what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Man. In my studio, right, I've got 2 photos on the wall, like just 2 photos.
Yeah.
One of them's with Pharrell and Rick Rubin, because like the goats, you know what I mean? I love that interview that they had together. And then the other one...
We won't name the venue.
What?
Don't say anything about the venue.
I'm not going to say the name, obviously. Yeah. But the other one
We're
is
nice guys.
From performance that recent I did at this place, this unnamed place. It was the worst goddamn performance we've ever done. It was like the most embarrassing thing we've ever done.
She gives me a headache.
And I keep that up there every day because I'm like, man, it cannot get worse than that.
What happened?
Bro,
man.
We couldn't hear ourselves. He was live mixing, on the DJ decks, because we did a DJ set at this place, and there was someone in like the back room controlling the sound.
He's like turning it up and like down like every like 5 seconds.
Yeah, Vince is turning it up, he's turning it down. So I can't hear myself in the mic, so I'm like putting my head like this, and there's
no like PA system, so he can't hear himself. He's can I hear my, you know what I mean?
And like
there was nothing set up when we got there, by the way, as well. I had to set up all the DJ decks. So I'm not really like familiar with like CDJs like that, so I didn't even know how to like put together everything. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
that could be daunting for something.
And they man, it was a wild fucking show. And you know, obviously the crowd wasn't in it because of the type of place it was.
There was like 3 people.
Yeah,
2 of them
and it was
our girlfriends.
Like it wasn't like, you know, we didn't expect everyone to be there, whatever. But it was so bad. It was just like we left that place. We're like, we are never fucking doing that again.
Reese was pretty. I've never seen him like that. Man dropped the mic. He was like,
I was like, I'm done. Like I was like happy singing. I love performing live. Like that's one of my things. I love like being on stage. But like, man, that shit was whack. Yeah, it was so bad, and
it's not even about the crowd. I think
it wasn't about the crowd. It was just about the whole like
the setting. I guess.
Yeah, the setting and like the aura of the place as well, and just the way it was handled. Oh, the fucking back room! I'm telling you, man. Why the fuck did they have that when they give you the fucking decks? Man's turning up my mic and they're turning it down in the fucking back room.
Playing whack-a-mole. I was like, oh shit, like another problem. Like I gotta change it here.
There's nothing more that we could do, and it was just a wild night. That was the night we released one of my first songs, Drugs, and
which was good.
It was good.
I feel like you needed that bad experience because Drugs turned out to be like his biggest song now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
like it was the one that was most receptive. So
yeah,
maybe the performance like made you feel like you were on drugs because it was so bad.
Fucking I wish.
There've been some bad drugs.
That's a bad fucking trip because that shit was black as fuck. And I'm telling you, man, like it was just bad. And then now we got that photo up in the studio. One of the candid shots while we were performing, exactly to remind ourselves
like we ain't shit,
of where we go.
Humbles yourself. That's
humbles us. That was fucking shit. So we're not going back there. You know what I mean? And then another one, like no disrespect to this place though, like it was.
No one knows where it is.
Yeah, right? It was a good event. It was, and like I had my set. And again, no disrespect to no one because everyone there was like really, really kind and nice and everything. I think it was just a simple mistake. I think it was just like a simple mistake.
This is when I was like really high.
No.
Oh,
this is
that's another story. So we'll
this is the fundraiser.
I can't remember. Just go tell.
And I have my set and we're doing about 5 songs, so it's about 20 minutes maybe. Straight after my second song, I'm about to go on to the next one. About to literally introduce the next song. And the host host comes in. He like, I don't know if he like grabs my mic or like has his own mic, and he's like, "Thank you, R.L.King, for your performance. That was so tight. That shit was great, man."
I forgot
and I was like, honestly, yeah, I was shocked. I was fucking shocked. I was like, what is going on? And I look back.
So long.
I look back at Vince, and because he was DJing for me. I look back at Vince. I was like, thanks. and I walk off, and I just didn't know what happened. And there were a couple of friends that came to see the performance, and like I sat down, and they're like, "Is that it? Like, is that over?" Fuck, man, I was so confused, and it was no like, hey, because then he realized what he did, yeah. Because I think like the people that were running it were like, you cut him off, like you cut him short, and the guy came to me and he's like, man, I'm so fucking sorry, and like
I forgot about that, man.
And they were like, no, like we'll get you back on. But then by the time it happened, the chick with the hula hoops came out and shit, and I was like, you know what? It's all good, man. I'll just enjoy the show and like, you know, it was good. It was really.
I forgot about that.
It was a good event. It was a good event. It was a very great cause. There were nice people and stuff like that. But that definitely has to go down with like one of the like wackiest shows that we've ever done.
I blocked that out of my memory.
It was so weird. He came in and was like, yeah, thank you, man. And I wanted to say to him, I was like, hey man, I think I've got a couple more songs. Like, but like I was so stunned. Yeah. Like I was like,
paralyzed, right? What can you do, man?
And I was like, thank you. And I walk off. And then I left my guitar lead there. It was a whole mess.
It's a big mess.
You wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, right? Man. Yeah. Fuck. and it was just.
That first year we had quite a lot of gigs actually.
Yeah,
Thinking about it now, like his first year in music. Like
we did quite a few shows.
We did quite a few like ground up shows. Like just terrible.
We did like uni events, and the DJ deck was like this tiny, and you know, it was good. It's been a good learning curve so far, and it's only going to go up. You know what I mean? And it's been really good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do more wacky shows.
More stories for us, you know?
Yeah, man. We'll come back part 2, and I'll tell you about the time I didn't even sing. and no, it was good. It's good, and I'm excited for all the other shows that I have to do. Because more stories, more memories to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More experience, more music you can make.
Exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right.
So it's nice.
Definitely, man. And I want this to continue. I don't know if there's anything left, but you know, if there's anything else you guys want to get off your chest before I guess maybe we wrap things up.
Yeah.
His second show coming soon.
Yeah. We're running something a bit different this time. We had the first headline show, which was, you know, like your conventional show with support acts and things like that. Can I say this?
Say it.
All right. We're having something like a showcase, where there's going to be maybe about 8 support acts or acts before me, and it's going to be an event that promotes the scene. That's why we have so many acts. Because we're trying to show a glimpse of what the Melbourne scene is, and it's gonna be more than just a stage show. It's gonna be very much a collective thing. We're trying to have more sort of sponsors, brands coming through. It's like a Hidden Sun presents R.L.King and Friends kind of thing. So that's something that we're trying to get down as soon as possible. Yeah, that's basically it.
All for the scene, man.
All for the scene. Because, you know, Drake, The Weeknd, they all put on for their city.
Toronto. What was it called? The OVO
Fest.
OVO Fest.
And it's like, you know, putting on for your city escalates that to being globally. You know what I mean? It'll always be for Melbourne. But, like, then the world recognizes you because you are from Melbourne. As opposed to you being a Melbourne artist. That's the name for now. But it's good. It's going to be good. And like, you need to be doing these things. You need to be doing this because you come from here. You know, the saying, like, you know, charity comes from home. And it's not charity. It's our way of appreciating and being able to lift everyone up. The quickest way to get to your goal is by helping someone else get to theirs.
I just get a ticket and they're just out of here.
Exactly right. And it's just this weird fucking predisposition about, like, thinking that you need to leave here to make it.
Or like leave and then stay there.
Leave and then stay there.
Here, lift up the scene.
You know what I mean? Like you bring up people around you. That shit's good karma. Yeah. There's no way but up if you bring the people with you that came up with you. But that shit's from like ancient times. Like, and it's still going on now. People thinking that you have to be in a certain place to make it in the industry. Nah, man. This shit, like, in this modern world now, you can do anything yourself. So why would you need to? You know what I mean? Again, there are many opportunities that come, and that doesn't mean you're a Melbourne artist. You stay in Melbourne because you're loyal to wherever you are. You take every opportunity that comes, but definitely remembering and appreciating where you're from comes first and foremost.
I like that.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Real Melbourne.
Yeah. No, it's good. We'll be keen to see that coming out. And
Yeah.
We'll definitely head down to that when it's out. Yeah.
Please, we'll have an interview there.
Yeah, it was
Backstage interview.
And Soul Selection. Is there any other events coming
Soul
up?
Supply coming up.
My bad. Rewind.
Selection? Come on, man.
Soul Supply, guys.
Okay. Soul Supply coming next week. Next Saturday.
The 5th.
At 30 Dirk.
30 Dirks, opposite section 8.
I love it. It's quite a nice
That
vibe.
shit went off the last time we had...
it's a blessing to have that. It was crazy. The first time I got to play what I want, as the first time the audience has been like super receptive. So like to have those two worlds, I was like, man, it's about to happen again.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
So get down.
Yeah, that'd be good to pull up.
Get down.
Drop your socials. Where can people find you guys?
My name is... No, fuck this. At R.L.King on Instagram is my primary source. But R.L.King everywhere is... Probably you search it up, you find me, hopefully.
At Isiah Wayve. That's it.
Beautiful. And where can we find us?
Thank you everyone for joining us. You can find news broadcast. You can find us at the Real Melbourne _ where we post clips, playlists. We update the playlist on there as well. The basic covers and stuff. You can find us at therealmelbourne.com, where you can find our playlists, mix shows, podcasts, about us, I guess. And I hope you've enjoyed. Any last words, Alex?
Oh, and check out the YouTube as well.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, we're doing good stuff on our YouTube channel, so check it out. We're trying to bring you some high quality footage of some great creators in Melbourne, so at least you can put the names to the faces, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Appreciate the environment, love one another, and last but not least, be grateful for what you got. Thanks.
Facts.
Come on, man.
Felt that.
Cheers, guys.
Damn.
Thank you.